Good morning and welcome to the Elevate Renatus team call. This is your host, Keely Austin. Today is Wealth Wednesday. It's January 20th. I'm excited to be here with you today. Let's go through some quick announcements and get started with our training. Our quote of the day is, "Knowledge is like paint. It does no good until it's applied." We've got our dates for our national conference, Renatus Nationals. That is going to be March 18th through the 20th. We've got 3 full days of online training with our CEO, Bob Snyder, as well as some other national leaders. This is going to be a great training, so make sure that you clear out those 3 days and that you are fully present from March 18th to the 20th for our national conference. We have our dates for leadership retreat. We're going to be going to Cabo San Lucas, Mexico, August 13th through the 17th, 2021. So excited to see you all there. Our Founders Live is on Mondays at 4 p.m. This is your opportunity to meet with our CEO and hear the latest and greatest from him. A lot of important announcements on the Founders Live, as well as some training, recognition, and a story of the week. So definitely tune in on Mondays at 4 p.m. The Founders Live is on Facebook. There's a Facebook group for that. There are 3 kinds of people in this world: people who make it happen, people who watch what happens, and the people who wonder what happens.
And I think that's why they were asking her to float some of those.
There we go. And on Mondays at 7 p.m., we have our national study groups that we just started a couple weeks ago. Last week was our first week. We're starting with the essentials. So make sure that you're telling your guests about our national study groups as well as your teams, and tune in on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Download the Helios app if you haven't. So Renatus Helios has an app now in the App Store. Please give it 5 stars and know how to locate your access code. This has just been a new addition that we recently added. So if you're wanting more information on the benefits of this and why you want to have it, then tune into the Founders Live. If you go back and watch the previous weeks, it'll talk about this. And I'm sure for the next couple of weeks, Bob will probably be touching on this for a little while now. So if you're not sure what the Helios app is or why you want it, then check out the Founders Live on Monday. We have a lot of weekly and daily support that I'm so grateful for. So every Thursday, we've got our Private Capital Masterclass. It's about an hour long, and we talk all about private capital. Bring our stories of conversations we're having, questions we have regarding private capital, and of course, be watching your classes and just bringing your stories and questions and wins to the masterclass. So that's at 6 p.m. Mountain Time every Thursday. We have our Dream Call Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. goes until about 9:45. It's our daily real estate action mastermind. And then Friday mornings, we have Fabulous Friday Morning with Lily Puertas from 8 to 9. And then Monday through Friday, we have our Zoom up call that's happening at noon. It's only about 15-20 minutes long. The Zoom up call is all about success stories. So each day is a different success story. And again, they're only 15 minutes, very short and sweet. So make sure that you're tuning into the Zoom up calls at noon Mountain Time. And if you are not able to make it to the live call, then you can catch the recording. Our recordings are on the YouTube channel, and this is a very powerful exposure for your guests. So make sure your guests are also checking out these Zoom up calls. OES.com talks about the optional event subscription, what that is, why you want to be a part of that, and how that helps out our leadership team. Every Tuesday at 7 p.m., if you're looking to introduce your guests to the Profits Education, Bob Tierney is doing a Profits intro every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. So you can tune into that for Profits. Every week we have a virtual house tour, and that is built around your guests. So make sure you're getting your guests tuned into the house tour. Last week we had a tour of Tim's property in Salt Lake City, or in the Utah area, Salt Lake City area, and the purchase price was $330,000. He put about $72,000 into it, and the ARV is $525,000. So Tim is looking at a potential net profit of $50,000 after everything's paid back. So that is really, really exciting. Congratulations, Tim, and thanks for letting us tour your property last week. So it is Wednesday, so that means tonight we've got a new house tour that we're going to be touring. That's at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. And alongside that, we have our AIT bonus track study group offered in Spanish. So every Wednesday, we've got these 2 events happening And on Thursdays, we have our house tour offered in Spanish. We've got our Pillars of Wealth intro presentation in English, our follow-up and funding webinar onboarding session, an essential session, as well as study groups for multifamily, wholesaling, and short-term rental. All happening Thursdays at 7 p.m. So you get to pick and choose what it is you'd like to go to based on your goals and what you're working on. Our morning calls are recorded. We're on Facebook Live on the Renatus Team Elevate private Facebook page. If you're not a part of that page, definitely get added to that. There's a lot of important announcements there, as well as you get to network with the team. And then our YouTube channel is Elevate Renatus. I mentioned a moment ago, you can catch the Zoom up calls there, as well as these morning training calls. So today is Wealth Wednesday. I'm so grateful that we get to spend an hour with Daine every Wednesday. Daine has been really killing it in this business, and so we're very fortunate to get to learn from him. So make sure to take diligent notes today. And what I really love about Daine's trainings is he really makes it about us and really loves to learn, what we're working on and what we need help with and how we can really apply what it is that we're learning. So Daine has a really cool story. Before Renatus, he was working 2 jobs. He was working for Apple, and he was actually in the back counting cell phones, not on the floor out talking to customers. So he was actually pretty shy. And he was also a roofer, which he kind of just fell into that because that's what his dad did at the time. And so at the time he was barely making ends meet, and he knew he needed to make a change. He had heard about real estate investing and started to look into that and discovered Renatus. And he dove into his classes, plugged into the system, listened to his mentors, and started to apply what he was learning. With his first deal, I believe this was his first deal, he used the Velocity Banking as leverage as a down payment for a duplex where he lived in one side of the duplex and rented out the other side. And when we fast forward to today, Daine has raised well over $20 million from various investors to go towards his transactions. And his secret to that is consistency and frequency. Also, Daine has grown his team. So he's on the PIT team, meaning he's in training to be on the PAC, the President's Advisory Council. And so we are listening to a key leader this morning. Again, make sure to take notes. I'm excited for what Daine has to share with us this morning. Good morning, Daine. How are you?
Good morning, Keely. Thank you, as always, for that intro. And good morning, Renatus Nation. Excited for part 3 today, and we should be finishing it up. And then I want to be going through Q&A, helping people walk through their own goals. I want to hear some of the things that you guys are going to do if you don't achieve your goals. I hope that you too have been following along, obviously, with your own stuff. And then I even have, in fact, before we begin, I have a little short story. Actually, no. Let's go to how many. Tell me, how many people did you get to talk to in the last 7 days about real estate investing? Did you get them to a house tour? Did you get them to the intro? Did you get them to let's see, what else has been happening? We can't make them go to study groups. Did you get them to an online funnel? Did you do a one-on-one? Did anything? Did you create any conversations in the last 7 days around real estate investing? And I would love to hear from all 73 of us. So I want to see 73 comments if I can, even if you had a goose egg and you literally didn't talk to anybody about real estate investing in the last 7 days. That's okay. I would love to still see a goose egg. And I say this, I don't know, almost every week probably, but people want to work with those who are honest with themselves, at least starting to be honest with themselves. And the more honest you are with yourself, the more success you can bring. I've seen it time and time again. Awesome. Great job, guys. Thank you. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. 20 comments. I'm not going to open them yet. I want to see it. I want to see that get to 74. I gotta count my own. For me, the number that I count is how many one-on-ones do I do? I used to count like how many conversations did I have? How many people did I invite? How many people actually showed up? Or how many people did I invite and how many people confirmed? How many people actually showed up? How many people did I follow up with? I used to track all of that. And I probably did that for a number of years. until I was like, you know what? I don't need to do that anymore. I just need to know how many one-on-ones did I do? Because ultimately it's the one-on-one where I'm asking to do business with them. I'm asking to say, hey, let's put your order in. Let's go find your funding. And so the direct number that I know that if I'm not doing one-on-ones, that means I'm not doing any of the other things. And if I'm not doing one-on-ones, I'm not putting orders in. And so that is the number one thing that I personally track. You don't have to copy me if you don't want to. But now that it feels mundane to track that, because again, I did it for a year, maybe 2 years. Now that it feels mundane to track all of that stuff, my brain is more like, hey, let's keep this simple. But if you're not doing any one-on-ones, or maybe you're new to this, I would suggest, track how many conversations, how many people do you invite to have a deeper conversation, come to an event, a house tour, go through a video series, and then ultimately sit down in a one-on-one with yourself or with your 5-star, either way. Basically all the way to putting the order in. Track each one of those parameters, because then I need to have this many conversations in order to get one-on-one. And as you get better and better, oh, look at all these comments. Great job, guys. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. We almost got, I see 39 comments, 40 comments. And we got 80 people. So we got half of us that are chiming into the chat and letting us know how many conversations you had. So keep them coming.
Hey,
But yeah, Sherry.
you have a tracking sheet that you use, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, okay.
I don't track all these things anymore on that sheet. In fact, maybe I should make one. Maybe I should make one that people could use, and basically the way that I used to use it. But the sheet that I do have, I mean, you can track the individual and say, I invited them to come to a meeting, to come to the exposure, to have a one-on-one, put the order in, stuff like that. So in a way you could kind of track not all of these things, kind of, but yeah, I do have a sheet that is absolutely, you can track these things. So, but yeah, keep them coming, guys. Keep them coming. 41
Hey,
comments, 81 people. Go ahead.
How you doing, Daine? Andre,
What's
Miami,
up, brother?
Florida. Hey, what do you write down on each column of that sheet you have, or do you mind sharing it?
Yeah, I'll share it. Yeah, I'll share it. So as soon as we get done with our stuff today, then I'll bring that up. But
Thanks.
anyway, all right, let's give some love. I got 41 comments. Keep them coming. Keep them coming as I go. Even if it's a goose egg, I'm not going to embarrass you. I promise. But be honest with yourself. And it's crazy when you tell me that you had a goose egg this week, and if you tell me that you had a goose egg next week, and you tell me that you had a goose egg again, you will begin, because you are so honest with yourself. No, I didn't talk to anybody. And then you start answering the question like, why am I not making money yet? Oh, I know exactly why. We have some work to do inside the walls of this, inside the walls of our own mind first. And when we do that and we start branching out, oh, people see it. You start here first. Anyway, back to this. Bruce, thank you, brother. My first one, Bruce had a goose egg. Doug had one, Ann had one, Isaac had 5, Gilda had 3, Bobby 13, Meryl 3, Amy 1, Freedom Network, easy, 30 to 40 people. Luis 1, Latoya had a goose egg. Esther had 3 conversations and 1 one-on-one. Cecilia had 1. Dina. I'm gonna say Dina. Dina Walker had 2. Scarlett had 2. Steve had 2. Anthony had 3. Farhad spoke to 4 people so far about attending the Row Team Results Mingle on Thursday. Andres had 18. Sandra 1. Ron, a goose egg. Miri had 2. Reached out to 7. Got 1 no and 2 open to watching Velocity Banking video. Grace had 1. GS had 2. Had 1. She had 2. Lorene 1. Brian had 1. Keely, 12 conversations, 2 one-on-ones. Freedom Network, 7 one-on-ones. Nice. Steve had 2. Mark had 5. Jeff, 1 convo, 0 follow-ups. For Deborah, 4 conversations, 4 invites, 1 show to an intro. Deanna had 2. Freedom Network had 2. Sherry had 2. Carla, 15. Guests, 5 conversations. Nina, wow, 5 conversations. Finished my W-2 contract this week and working on a list of contacts I've never followed up with on property. Awesome. From my phone contact list. Cool. Goal is to get them to an event and then to leave. Oh, I say this almost every, maybe you know this, I probably don't say this one every single week, but man, when people go out and try to do real estate, the byproduct is marketing. When people go out and do marketing, the byproduct is real estate. It is the cool, like Bob Snyder is a freaking genius. It's the coolest thing. But Al had 3, Russ had a goose egg, Sandra, real conversation, which I didn't feel they were making me or I was doing them a favor, basically. Daine, I had 3 one-on-ones. Velocity banking, now the person has gone ghost. Happens. I've had plenty of those. Sheldon, I'm really depending on today's vision board training. I couldn't wait to the 9 columns right on my wall, just waiting on you to finish so I can really understand how to fill it in. Cool. Let's do this. Leslie 7, Daniel 1, Pedro had a goose egg as well. All right, let's go ahead and dive right into what we've been doing for the last 3 days that we've been doing this. Let me share my screen. And Jared, if you are, I checked to make sure that you were with us before we got started, but if you are still with us, then let's finish up yours if you wouldn't mind as we go through this role play together. I think I hear somebody. Is that you, Jared?
Yeah, it's me. I'm driving, but I'm almost home. I'm dropping kids off at school.
Awesome. Okay, cool. Welcome back, brother. So to bring everybody back up to speed, if you have not been following along, go back and search in the Facebook group Wealth Wednesday and look back from January 5th was the first time we started doing this all the way to today. So we've been doing this for 3 weeks in a row now. And I've asked our friend Jared to go through this with me live so I can be answering real live questions as we go. And so here's where we've gone. We've talked about creating the vision board, the science behind how and why I do what I do, and do it exactly like this. We went through the rules of how to do this. And so there's that tracker that somebody was asking about, daneclark.com/tracker. You can check that out. And then we've been going through Jared's situation where if you cannot write a 1-page minimum essay about your goal, I would argue that you don't have a real goal. Because if you can't spend that kind of time, that kind of brain energy talking about the different things that you want, that you know why you want those things, what you're going to do to achieve that, the things that you can control, right? And Jared's been a great example, almost I would say a perfect example of going through this and saying, here's what I'm willing to do that I can control in order to get what I want. Okay, and so just in brief, he wants 10 short-term rentals, and this is cool because as you force yourself to write an essay about this, you go back and you make things more clear. It's cool because you're like, oh yeah, I gotta add this, I gotta add this to this, I gotta add this. And so at first he said, I want 10 short-term rentals. And then we decided that we wanted 10 short-term rentals that are cash flowing so much so that he can put $50,000 in the bank so that he feels more freedom. $50,000 sitting in the bank. Again, I know he's running a business doing wholesaling and stuff like that. And so he's churning money, but $50,000 in the bank just from this short-term rental business is going to cause more feeling of freedom so that, we talked about travel. We talked about, basically up and leaving for a month. I think it was to, was it somewhere in South America, if I remember right?
Yeah, Mexico or anywhere.
Mexico or North America. Yeah.
Mexico, just anywhere.
Middle America, anywhere. Anywhere gone, just gone.
Yeah.
And he is having 120 conversations before every Sunday around finding, conversations with landlords. Whoops, I forgot to put he's not having conversations with land, he's having conversations with landlords by every Sunday. In other words, every single week. And he can control that. And he's having 12 conversations with lenders, private lenders / private partners, 12 by every Sunday, because that's again what he can control. And if he does not reach 120 and 12, and he's tracking this, if he does not reach 120 or his 12, then he's going to sing us a little song on Facebook. And Jared, I didn't see any singing on Facebook, so I'm guessing that you had 120 conversations in the last 7 days.
Well, I broke it down because I started this in the middle of the week, so I had my 60, so I was good.
Perfect. Perfect. Now, so and just to make sure that everybody knows, if you do not hit 120, what song are you going to sing?
I'm a little teapot, short and stout.
Sing on Facebook Live, I'm a little teapot. I'm a little teapot. On Facebook Live, I'm a little teapot. Okay? That would be awesome. But I don't want to see it.
I don't want to
I know why you'd be doing it. Anyway, moving on. Next on that list of again, in this one-page essay of what you're going to do to get it, and what you will do if you don't hit some of these things that you control. If you do hit 120, I want you to celebrate. You don't have to go spend money. You don't have to, something. What will you do that you can look forward to be like, man, I did it. 120 conversations with landlords and 12 with lender partners. What Jared, what would you do? Did you do something? Extra credit if you did.
Sure.
But pick something that if you do that every single week, you want to be like, man, if I get my 120, here's what we're doing. We're going and getting a massage. We're gonna go out of town. We're gonna, on a free trip, or again, you don't have to spend money on this one. I want it to stay cheap.
Sure.
But what is something that you could treat yourself with every week if you hit that? Because again, we want to activate both sides of the brain with this. Go ahead, brother.
So for me, I'm a big nerd in heart, and so I spend 1 hour playing one of my favorite games, Magic the Gathering online. So it's just playing the game effectively.
Okay,
right.
I will. What's it called? Magic the Gathering. Did I hear that correctly?
Yeah.
Cool. I'll have to check that out. Sounds fun.
Addicting. Don't do it.
Addicting. Don't do it. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Magic the Gathering. How long? And if you don't hit the 120, are you going to say, I will not play? Not only am I singing, but I will not play. But if I do, I will play. How long?
Just 60 minutes. That's all I really have time for.
1 hour. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to relax. I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to play Magic the Gathering for an hour. It doesn't have to be on Sunday, but and again, your week doesn't have to be broken up by Sunday as well. You could make it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever, and that's when you report, if you will. For me, I report everything on Thursdays, for example, and I do that with my assistant, where we sit down and I share mine, he shares his. Did we hit our goal for the week, based on what we're doing here? So, okay, Magic the Gathering. All right, now here is a really cool thing that Jared has already done, but he hasn't done it correctly yet because of the spin that I'm going to make on this. But at the end of the day, I want you to be accountable. Like, in other words, I want you to show this and talk to somebody about this whole, basically this one-page essay, if you will. And I'm sure Jared has been already writing this down anyway, but I want you to be accountable to somebody, that if you share this with them and you don't do these things, that you will actually feel real embarrassment. So in other words, this probably can't be your spouse. This probably can't be me. Because some people, they'll be a little embarrassed to be like, Daine, I didn't do it, whatever. But at the end of the day, like the only reason we know each other is through Renatus, through work, if you will, right? You want somebody that you will seriously feel guilty if you went to them and said, hey, here's my goal. I want to share this with you, and you need to sign as a witness. Okay. So here's you're going to pick the person, but you want them to be basically say, I hereby witness. And you want them to sign it. I hereby witness that I see what Jared's doing here. Yeah. So Jared, who, if you were to show this to, and you didn't achieve this, if you gave up, would cause you to feel some guilt, some shame, so like literally.
And it can't be my wife. 'Cause that's
Cannot
what
be your
happened.
wife.
Okay.
Because typically, spouses see spouses try things all the time. And spouses see spouses try and sometimes give up. And spouses see spouses try and sometimes win. And so with a spouse, I mean, she sees everything. She sees us try, you know, and it's normal. But you want somebody that when they see you and they're like, oh my gosh, like, you really gonna do this? Like you almost want somebody to be like, Jared, are you really gonna do this? Okay, that you will almost feel embarrassed if you don't stick with it. If you know, because if they follow up with you in 6 months from now, you know, and maybe that's, you know, literally maybe this doesn't come up in conversation with this person for 6 months, and they say, oh, are you still doing that thing? And if you're like, no, I'm not doing that, it was too hard, and whatever, then you're going to be like embarrassed. All right, this might be your mother. This might
Right.
be.
So
this might
now
be
would I have to every single week?
Nope. Doesn't have to be every single week. Just somebody that you share this with, and then I'm gonna get into a couple of points around this in just a minute. But let's pick somebody.
I'll say my dad.
Your father. Very good choice. What's your father's name?
Rick.
Rick. I'm gonna guess Rick Brenchley.
Yes, sir. When I was a teenager, I called him Dick once. That didn't last too long. I don't remember what happened afterwards.
That space in your lifetime has been removed. Yeah. or in your memory, I should say. Cool. So Rick Brenchley, tell me why you chose your father.
He's like one of the few people that I feel able to kind of be open with and vulnerable to. Mm-hmm. Yet I want him to be proud of me at the same time. So it's just like, yeah, it's a very deep emotional, like, yeah.
So tell me, if your father, because I mean, you probably see your father from time to time.
Yeah.
If your father sees you at Thanksgiving this year, you know, long time away, but your father sees you at Thanksgiving this year and says, oh, Jared, remember that thing that you shared with me in January? And if you actually gave up in that amount of time, you have to tell him, of course. But how would it make you feel?
Wow, I got a little emotional this second.
I know.
I would ashamed, embarrassed.
Yeah.
I don't know. With my dad, it's just like I'm okay with failure 100%. Like I'm not. I mean, because I fail forward. But with my dad, it would just be like if I fail, it just would feel even worse. You know what I mean? It's just like I don't know. It'd be pretty powerful.
Now let's talk on the flip side.
Okay.
Thanksgiving. Oh, Jared, how's that thing going? And you did it. How's it gonna feel?
You guys obviously you all have seen Rocky. If you haven't, then you all should be ashamed of yourselves. But you know, the same feeling that you get when you're watching the entourage of Rocky when he's training and he hits the top of the stairs and he's just like he finally made it. He's just like do much jumps, you know, king of the world type scenario.
Yeah, exactly. Right. You got to pick somebody that you value their opinion so much that you don't want the one outcome very, very much so, and you do want the other outcome very, very much so, if you will. Okay. And if you want extra credit, do this with multiple people. Pick the one that's like the most important, right? Pick the most. So here, let me do this. So pick the most important person. That's the most important part of this, but also extra credit if more. And do not exchange the extra credit for that most important, right? That's the key. Pick the most important and then extra credit if you choose more people. Okay, but again, does not, if you do it with a bunch of people, like this is why I say today, Jared has already done this with how many people we got on here? We got like 80 some odd. We have 83 people on here. So Jared, we will all sign this figuratively for you, or you'll have to start a DocuSign with 83 signatures,
Right.
and send it to all of us. But you know, we are here for you. So you got extra credit. But again, the father, Mr. Brenchley, Rick, the most important. Fair enough?
Absolutely. Agreed.
Cool. Now we have gone through where we have things on our vision board. Jared has picked this category. I want, again, career. I want the 10 short-term rental properties. He's got, you know, I shared last week, or I think this was last week or the week before. He's got a picture that represents that in his mind. He's got a sticky note on there. Ooh, let me talk about the sticky note really fast. Okay, so when we, oh man, I should try and take a picture of this. In fact, if you guys will bear with me for just a moment. I don't think my wife is still asleep, but she might be. So shh, I'm gonna go take a picture really fast. Okay, we didn't wake anybody up. Okay, so here is my vision board. Let's see, how do I get to that? There we have it. So you can see I just took a couple of things off, and so I got to replace them. But again, denotes to the mind. You can see how I've got this thing on like little clips. I can pull these things off as fast as I put them on because I achieve them, right? And you can see I've got my little sticky note pad so that as soon as I have an idea to replace something, I don't wait for the picture. I just put it on, bam, right? I'll fill out the sticky note and I'll order the picture or I'll print it out or whatever, right? And so you can see I've got my stuff, the money, the self-image, the spiritual, the family, my physical, my love life, the career / education, what was the middle one? Hobby, passion, and then fulfillment in the bottom right. Okay. And then I've got my sticky note, right? Notice that I have little lines underneath. So let me go back to this.
Daine?
Go ahead, brother.
Yeah, could you repeat the categories one more time? I got self-image. I didn't have that the first time.
Yes. Take a screenshot of this really fast.
Okay.
And tell me when you've got it.
Got it, thanks.
Good to go? Cool. All right,
Yeah.
so let's zoom in. We pick a picture. Can be anything. I mean, you could rip it out of a magazine if you want to. but whatever represents in your mind, where the moment you see that picture, it takes you to like, aha, this is what I want, okay? And then let's zoom in on the sticky note. So on the sticky note, I like to put, and let me erase just that section right there. On the sticky note, I like to put, you know, in brief what it is, right? So for example, one of the things that I want right now is a super class C diesel motorhome. My wife wants to travel the US and basically go camping every day. And we want this thing like off grid. I'm literally, the roof is going to be a solar panel. I've got a whole vision. The roof will be a solar panel, basically. We'll be able to run the air conditioner off of this. We'll be able to run all the electrical appliances off grid as we're traveling around and whatever. I'm gonna pull Ford Raptor behind the Class C, and then behind the Raptor is going to be the coolest freaking side-by-side that is known to man. So it's gonna be a train going down the road, and we're gonna go camping all over the place. We'll be able, literally, we've thought about how I'll have my office so I can still run calls like this every single week, no matter where we are, as long as we have internet. Okay, so anyway, you can see I've got the vision. I can see it in my mind, what it's going to look like. And so I've got the little representation on the sticky note. And then at the bottom,
Hey, Daine, how much is it going to cost?
As much as the house I'm living in right now.
Okay.
So it'll be a pretty penny. And so on the sticky note, I've got the thing, you know, I've got the description, and I've written it out. It's longer than what I just shared with you guys, yeah, it's longer than even what I just shared with you guys, but I've written it down on that sticky note and I've slapped it on the picture. On this side, I have a dollar amount. On this side, I have, let's see, when did I decide that I wanted this? I think this was November of 2020. Right? Now notice that I didn't put a future date. I put the date that I put it on the wall, that I put it on my vision board. I put it on the vision board in November of 2020, I think it was, but you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. I do that because I want the universe to surprise me with how quickly this could happen. I don't want to say, I want this by July of 2021. I want to be surprised at how quickly this could actually happen. And it's crazy because literally my wife called on one yesterday to buy. So it's like, oh my gosh, this is happening. Okay. And you'll notice that things begin to line up in your life where you begin aligning yourself with this energy or whatever, you know, whatever it is that you have on the wall, you know, put the thing, the motorhome, whatever. Oh, got to put the bed over the top of that thing and yada, yada. Okay. You got your picture, you got your sticky note. How much is it going to cost? And when you put it on the wall, right? And then you go down through and you build the goal. You write an essay about this thing. Now, some of the things that you do, like for example, one of the things that I just put on my vision board is I want to date my wife 4 times in 1 month. Especially through this whole pandemic thing, that's been a little bit difficult to do because babysitters, but I'm going to figure it out. And so with something like that, like, yeah, I might not go through this whole thing, you know, in nitty gritty detail, because really I just need to schedule it. I got to put it in my calendar, got to block time off 4 times in a month. That I can't schedule anything over it, but that's what we're doing. We're going to date that wife 4 times in 1 month. Okay, so sometimes this would be overkill, but hey, if you did this, like if I did this for that goal, then by golly, that's going to happen. Right? And so, because I mean, again, I'm also saying this is a lot. This takes more time. than your average person to say, here's what I want, here's what I'm gonna do to get it, here's what happens if I don't, here's what happens if I do, all those things, okay? Literally, if I I mean, imagine going through this and getting to that fine person of like, hey, I'm gonna date, telling my father, I'm gonna date my wife 4 times this month. Imagine what that's gonna do for that person. If I wrote up a whole essay, in fact, this is making me want to do this anyway, because one of the things that literally I feel that the purpose that I am on this earth for is to interact with other humans, take them wherever they are, and to lift them. Even if it's 1 inch, even if it's a mile, that is the purpose of my very existence on this earth. To find people wherever they are and to lift them. By this very act of sharing with Rick Brenchley, Jared is going to lift his father. I guarantee it. In many ways. And any of these people, right? In fact, write this one down. I'm not sure if I'll write this out because it'll take me a minute, but the achievement of your goal will be directly related to how many people know what that goal is. Now that comes in various forms because you're not going to show this to every single person. But as you talk about that goal with other people, that is how you are going to ultimately achieve it. Again, you don't have to share exactly what your goal is. Oh, you guys probably can't see that yellow very well. Jared's not going to share exactly what his goal is with these 120 people that he talks to every week. But at the end of the day, they know a portion of what his goal is. And that's a lot of people, 120 people a week, 480 people per month that understand his goal. Someone is going to have exactly what he needs. And he is going to have exactly what they need to take each of themselves, Jared and these landlords, to the next level where they want to go. All right, so again, I say the achievement of your goal will be directly related to how many people know what that goal is in the various different forms. Some accountability partners, some of those people will actually fulfill the achievement, AKA in Jared's case, the landlords or the lending partners, right? Now when, and then I want to, we're 48 after, so I want to open it up to questions. Quick story though. I set one goal that I wanted to raise $10 million. I want to have $10 million in buying power. And again, back to the training that we've been going through these past 3 weeks. I know where I'm at. I know where I want to go. When I set that goal, I was at 7 million, and I know I need to go another $3 million to get to my $10 million in buying power, right? And I kid you not, you guys are going to think I make this look easy. This was yesterday at 8 p.m., literally 12 hours ago, 13 hours ago almost. Had a conversation with a gentleman on text message. And I've been doing business with this gentleman. I set my goal, and so I put it in the universe, but I didn't even share it with this guy. But because I'm out there working and talking and it's just in my being, my very being, that I want to get to $10 million in buying power. Look at his response. He didn't even respond about the deal. We've been working on this deal in Idaho. It's taken us months, I feel like, to finally get to the point where we're like, never mind, we're not doing this deal. Annoying, but anyway, plenty of backstory. But look at his response. Oh, I also have another $300,000 that we can start using for real estate. No, it's not always this easy. In fact, I was almost angry because I was sitting there telling myself, like, oh yeah, we're gonna get to $10 million. I'm gonna find, kind of like Jared. I'm gonna have this many conversations. I'm gonna find this many people. I'm gonna talk to them and do this many pitches and share them. And then I get this $300,000 added to the pot, bam. And I was just like, dang it. I wanted it to be harder than this. Be careful. Be careful what you wish for. It does not have to be as hard as you might think it's going to be. When you do it in the way that I just shared with everybody, with this entire formula, right, whole thing, you're going to make it look, from bystanders, you're going to make it look like it is too easy. But obviously nobody knows all of the work that I've put into that. You know, I mean, when I say how much preparation I had to do, how much work I've had to put in to get people to text me messages like that, that's when people would be like, oh, right? Do this. Do this with everything you want that's important to you in your life. We have the Renatus education, we have the community, and we are working on the basically within the walls of our own mind to become who we want to be. Do this, and you will not be sorry. You will surprise yourself. Okay, all right. Questions, comments. I have not been watching the comments. Looks like we have 25 of them. And so I want to make sure that I get to everybody. Please come off of mute and ask your question, just to make sure that I get to those questions, because as I scroll through this, check out U-joint off-road vehicles. Their RVs are sick. I'm gonna screenshot that.
Hey, Daine, just on
Go ahead, brother.
With the dream call right after this call, I'm actually gonna be calling a bunch of landlords, either to try to purchase their house or to get short-term rentals. So if anybody wants to actually see me do some calls and get some points, they can join the dream call.
Obligation. Right, again, back to this. Here's what I am hearing Jared say, where I will be accountable to. When you obligate yourself to success, or even action, when you obligate yourself to action, obligating yourself to other people, whole new level of motivation that backs you up. I mean, you guys want to know one of the reasons why I attribute some of my success, or where I attribute some of my success? This very call. Because I've obligated myself to every single person that gets on this line. I don't care if I have one person show up on a Wednesday, but I also wouldn't mind if we had hundreds. Because I obligate myself every single week, where I have to show up and take everybody wherever they are and add to them, even if it's 1 inch. And so what I'm hearing Jared say is, again, just one deeper level of his own success. He's obligating himself to all of us. Hey, come and watch me do my calls. Bam. And you said you're doing those on the dream calls at 9 a.m.?
Yeah, so today we're the dream call, we normally just answer questions, bring deals up, but today I'm actually going to do some live calling. If people like it, we can continue doing it too. So
cool. Oh, Keely's question.
Daine, quick question for you.
Go ahead.
When you're raising the funds, I know you said you raised, I don't know, it's probably more than 17 million by now. Now, when you buy something from a seller, like you do a seller financing, would you include it to that count?
So I mentioned I currently have $7 million in buying power. That's basically what I could buy, 7.3 million. Actually, now it's 7.6 in buying power. And then when Keely says, by the way, Keely, it's 21 million. By the way.
No, I meant, how much you raised. How much you raised?
Acquired $21 million. In other words, I have put $21 million into real estate.
Okay, and that's raised, including seller financing, like say if you have a deal.
Actually, I actually haven't counted that one, but you know, if I had an
Okay.
easy way, because again, I'm path of least resistance brain. If I had an easy way to track that, then I would. So, because again, to me, that's raising money. If you go to a
Yes.
seller and they say, yeah, I'll give you seller financing, you just created a lending partner.
Mhm. Well, it would be easy
And
to track it by whatever the purchase amount and then plus
mhm.
whatever you raise for
Yeah,
fixing
what I'm
it.
saying is in my current software,
Oh,
there it basically it's automated. Like when I tell people how much I've put to work in total, it's just because I look at the software that automatically tracks it because
okay.
it's easy, right? So
Okay.
trackable,
So,
traceable within my software, 21 million, but yeah, it's more.
okay, so basically the 21 million that you've raised, like say if you're buying a property for like 100,000, but you have a seller carry the loan for 50, like say there's a 50,000 like
Yeah.
mortgage that is on the, with the seller, and you take it over as a subject to, and then you came up with a $50,000, cash to basically buy this $100,000 house.
Hmm.
So in your calculation, you only account for the 50,000 that you raised, not 100,000. That's what you're saying.
If I understand you correctly, yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, have bought a
Cool.
bunch of, subject twos, seller finances, and because that doesn't fit into my software, essentially, in fact, here, I'll show you guys what I'm talking about. So into my software, whenever I call one of my lending partners and jump on the money raising mastermind on Tuesdays, if you want to see this. But when I jump on and say, all right, I'm going to use Van. And so here's the guy yesterday, $300,000. Bam. Okay, I'm going to add it to the list. $300,000. I add that to that list. So I have $7.6 million in buying power. That doesn't mean I put that to work though, right? Because a commitment to me is only a commitment until I actually close on a real estate deal and I call this person up and I say, hey, I got one. Let's close on this real estate deal. And so I have done 115 real estate deals, again, trackable by this system. Some of those, there's probably another 5 to 10 that I wasn't tracking again when I was newer. But this system then goes back and looks at all this data and says, all right, we have put to work basically actual money placed into real estate is $21.3 million that has actually been wired in to close on a real estate transaction that we purchased. And so that's where I get that number, where I look at it real fast before I jump on with Keely and when she announces that. Because it's automated. It's automated, that number that's growing, being put to work. I can just look at it. I don't have to go back and all right, how much? Yeah, I don't have to manually trace that. But yeah,
Awesome. Thank you so
but
much.
that's how I do it though. Everybody, Gilda,
So it
I
means
would
you've raised
suggest
a lot more than 21 million then.
exactly. I put to work more than 21 million in real estate investing. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And
Awesome.
when I was new, when that number was only like a few 100,000 or maybe just over 1 million, I used to trace all of those things. Now it's just like I've done so many that no matter what number I say, it's impressive. I just make sure that it's accurate and honest. Because like you said, I could argue that it's more, but to most people, the difference between 21 million and maybe 25 million, not a huge difference.
Hey, Daine, give quick testimony.
Go ahead, brother.
Yep, just wrote a check for
and we're 9 o'clock, so we might get chopped off. So hurry.
$87,000 just wrote a check for the RV and the truck, the diesel puller, the fifth wheel, and we're on the road. We're going to be heading across the United States and living from the RV and doing exactly what you just pointed out. And we're excited about the world travel.
Did a flip, created the cash, and bought it.
Yep, that's it. So
exactly,
the dreams do come true.
Let me say this, just just in case I get cut off.
Did you say it was 80? Is it 80,000 you spent?
We just, yeah, 87,000. Well, we wrote a check for the truck and the RV out of the business. The business paid for it.
Nice.
We didn't pay
Good
for
for
it.
you guys.
Awesome.
Good for you guys. One extra thing that I've recently added is I have an old checkbook from an old bank account that doesn't exist anymore, and I've actually, because first again, was this who was this? It didn't show me who it was, but it sounds like oh my gosh, not James, the brother of James,
Rick.
Anyway,
Rick.
yes, this is Rick. By basically also taping a check to this, writing it out for that dollar amount, because I like to pay cash for stuff personally, especially for toys. And so basically slapping a check on there saying, you know, writing it out to the RV, this much dollars. One extra thing that just gets you into that mindset. I'm going to write a check for that RV. And so I'm going to go grab one of these old, you know, checkbooks that the bank account doesn't exist anymore. I'm going to slap it on there just as one extra thing. Like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're going to manifest. We're going to write a check and go do this stuff. So, and I've already got the, even the side-by-side picked out. Oh, it's going to be sweet. We just got to pick it. We just got to order it basically. But yeah. All right, guys, next week, we'll probably follow up with a few extra questions, but yeah, I want to see, or at least hear that, Daine, I've got my essay, I've got my vision board, extra questions. You know, Keely asked, what do I use? Go to the app. Oh my gosh, it's called Free Prints. I use an app called Free Prints.
Thank you.
It does take, I think, 10 days or something like that to get to you. If you use the free option that you just pay for shipping, it's like $2 for 10 pictures or something like that. So cheap.
Oh, cool.
You could go to Costco and print it. You could go to Walmart and print it. You could print it on your printer at home. Doesn't matter. Just do it. Whatever is the path of least resistance, do whatever you will do, essentially, is the best way I can say it. So, all right, guys. We're just over time. We might get kicked off. I'll see you guys in a week, though. Bring questions, bring pictures, and bring your essay. So, somebody's gonna. I'm going through the comments. Somebody's gonna get in a tutu. Tamara, she's gonna do it in a tutu. Something. Oh, that's funny. Okay.